Welcome to another episode of the Bottom of the Stream Movie Show. My name is Adam.
My name is Nick.
My name and Nick.
I've gone all like
It's because you came in too early on your ahoy before I'd even finished my hello.
I just got excited. Sorry.
It's fine. It's fine. How are you?
I'm good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Me too.
I'm hyped.
You're hyped.
Hyped.
I'm looking forward to talking about this one. It's going to be a fun episode, I think.
I would think it would be fair to say this is not a movie either of us would ever accidentally or on purpose go anywhere near.
No, that's very true.
So thanks to Robin for pulling this out.
Thanks, Robin the Randomiser. If you missed the wave, that's the name of the randomiser now. One thing we should say before we start doing this film is it appears that when it came out, it was right at the top of the stream.
Fine, I've never heard of it.
I haven't either, so it's not breaking any rules. We're fine to do it. At one point, it was in the top 10 most watched Netflix originals of all time.
Did it flame bright, but
then
short?
Yes, I think it did. I think that's what I was going to say. It seemed to have gone right to the top and then sunk to the bottom quite quickly. It's only rated 4.4 out of 10.
That will happen.
So the film we're talking about is a film called Secret Obsession. It's from 2019. It was a 15. Well, it is a 15. It runs for 1 hour and 37 minutes. Currently rated at 4.4 out of 10 on IMDb and is a Netflix original.
Okay, what are you destroying?
I've just hit my microphone.
Okay.
Again. We need some better mic stands, I think. That's the next purchase. Yeah, so like I said, it was at the top of the stream at one point.
Might have been a slow week that week.
But what I found interesting was that it hit the top 10 Netflix originals of all time.
Right.
With 40 million views in its first month.
Okay.
The current list of Netflix top 10 originals of all time, the 10th episode, the 10th film in that list is Murder Mystery.
Okay, yeah.
That has 170 million downloads in its first month.
So this is not even in the ballpark.
Not even in
anymore.
the ballpark, but it was 2 years ago. So it shows you...
That's some growth.
All of the films in the top 10 Netflix originals of all time are from 2019 onwards, except for Bird Box, which was 2018 and is number 1.
Wow.
So it shows how Netflix have exploded in the last 2 years, I think.
Sure.
From 40 million to 170 million.
Also, I think there's something there on all those films that are there now have proper stars in them. You know, it is now a thing to go and do a Netflix film. You know, next week you are getting Red Notice, for example, with Ryan Reynolds and The Rock and
Harder They Fall come this week as well.
Whereas even a couple of years ago, this was the sort of thing that Netflix was a prime release. 2 years ago. Yeah.
It's mad.
Let's say it like it is. It's a TV movie.
It's shit. No, I'm not joking. We'll get to that. But yeah, it is. It's a TV movie. It would have been prime lifetime choice or whatever they're called. And ITV over here would have probably made it or tried to make it.
Sure.
And it's crazy how Netflix has exploded. This pandemic has done Netflix wonders. It really has. And they can't even deny it. I don't think they would.
No, I don't think they would.
It stars a lady called Brenda Song. She plays a character called Jennifer, which made me laugh because the Mr. Puzzle's character was called Jennifer as well. Yes. And it just really made me laugh that was a thing. She was a Disney kid. She was in things like Sweet Life of Zack and Cody when she was younger. Loads of things like that. She broke into the mainstream with The Social Network. She's in The Social Network.
That's interesting. I've seen that, and yet I don't. I was like, pretty sure I've never heard of this one.
She's pretty much. Oh, it'd be horrible to her now, but she's pretty much nondescript American actress. She's just.
I would say that's not. I don't know because I can't. As I say, I can't remember seeing anything else. You could level that at everyone in this movie, including the person I've heard of and remember from other stuff.
Yes, you're right. No, you're
nondescript
right.
is a very good way of putting everyone's role in this movie.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. Since then, she's done loads of animation.
Right.
She does loads of voice acting.
She's a good drawer.
No, she's a voice actress.
Okay.
Also stars a guy called Mike Vogel. He plays a character called Russell. He's most famous. He was in Cloverfield.
Oh, yeah.
He's the main guy in Cloverfield, which is a great film. I don't care what anybody says. He's also in the Texas Chainsaw Massacre remake from 2003.
Okay.
And most recently, he's the main character in Sex Life on Netflix.
Oh, that's
the saucy thing that came out a couple of months ago. So he's like, I don't know if he's the cheatee or the cheater, but he's one of them.
Okay.
He's one of the main guys. So yeah, he's doing well for himself at the minute. On Netflix, anyway. And finally stars a guy called Dennis Haysbert. I assume this is the man you think of, who you've heard of.
Yes.
He plays Detective Frank
Page.
Most famous for being President Palmer in 24 for many years. He was also in Far From Heaven.
He's been in loads
of stuff.
a lot of TV and movie work.
Most recently, he's probably most famous. He plays God in Lucifer.
Oh, right, okay.
And he's also plays a voice in the Masters of the Universe Revelation.
Oh, does he?
Film show that's on.
Cool.
He plays King Grayskull in that.
Yeah.
He's been in 4 episodes of it so far. Written and directed by a guy called Peter Sullivan. He has written and directed a fuckload of Christmas movies.
Well, here you go, because this is like you said, you will see this on Lifetime, on Hallmark. It's that kind of.
That's where
just a TV
every
movie.
other movie that he's ever made has gone to, I think.
Just generate just a churn of by the numbers Christmas movie.
Do you want me to list a few of his Christmas movies?
I would love to.
So,
here, you list some Christmas movies.
There's not even like a few. There's a lot.
And fair play, if you can make a career out of...
So how do you go from that to this? That's what interested me.
Well, I just kind of think this is just an extension of that, but it's somewhere along the way it's fallen through the cracks. It's not got onto TV. Yeah. Netflix have just needed content, and they've picked it. They've probably paid more for it.
Yeah,
picked it up, put their machine behind it, and this is what can happen. I'm assuming it's a Netflix purchase rather than a commission.
He also directed a film last year for Netflix called Fatal Affair, which appears to be this exact movie again.
I'm sure.
So, but Christmas movie wise, he made the Christmas edition. He made The Road Home for Christmas. He made Jingle Bell, My Christmas in, Sharing Christmas, Wrapped Up in Christmas, Broadcasting Christmas, The Flight Before Christmas, 12 Days of Christmas. These are all films he's directed. A Christmas Mystery, Christmas Under Wraps, Dear Secret Santa, Christmas Twister, which sounds awesome to be fair, All About Christmas Eve, 12 Wishes of Christmas, The Dog Who Saved Halloween. It's not a Christmas movie, it's a holiday movie. There's literally, the list just goes on and on and on. And it mixed in with those seems to be thrillers.
Yeah.
Like this. And it's a weird 2 movie area to get into. It seems like a strange man. He has just 35 director credits on IMDb.
That's awesome. It's
and
just
101 writing credits.
It's just completing the template, isn't it?
Yeah.
Imagine if he doesn't like Christmas.
By now he must hate it.
Yeah.
By now he must do.
It might be difficult not to be jaded by all the sort of, you know what it's going to be.
His whole life
man or woman returns to their hometown and falls in love unexpectedly with local doctor, sheriff.
Yeah. If he makes...
anesthesiologist. It's the same movie over and over
3 Christmas movies a year, then his whole life is just Christmas.
Sure.
It's just Christmas all the time in his life.
Maybe he just goes to the
beach
on
he
Christmas Day.
Attacking women and women in his other films. Do you have a one-word review of Secret Obsession?
Vapid.
Vapid. Wow. Scathing attack.
I don't always like... I try not to give away my thoughts early on, but we've already... jumped that sharp. So.
I texted you whilst I was watching this. I was like, I think this is the laziest film I've ever watched. My one word review would be lazy.
Interestingly, the word lazy crops up several times in my notes.
It's so paint by numbers that I got the twist in about the 4th minute of the film.
Same.
It's like
I was watching it on my own, no one else was there.
Same.
And I was like, I know what the twist is.
Yeah, straight away.
Yeah. It
was one of 2. At one point I thought it was going to be both. But one of them just was a complete MacGuffin and didn't go anywhere. And then...
We'll get to him.
I've
got questions.
But yeah, it's before we start, it's not a very good film. Where's this film start, Nick?
Rain.
Rain, that's exactly what I've written.
There's a lot of rain. And then there's a woman in the rain.
Yep.
And then she gets into a phone box.
Yep. She seems to be trying to hide from someone.
Yes, she's on the run.
Yeah.
And trying to call... It's like a gas station, isn't it?
Yeah, she's in the forecourt of an abandoned gas station. Well, I don't think it's abandoned, it's just raining, there's nobody there. And she tries to use a payphone but doesn't know how to. Because who does? I wouldn't know how to use one.
Who carries coinage?
Exactly.
Nowadays.
I wouldn't know how to use a payphone. I wouldn't even know where there was one.
She goes inside, she hides in a stall.
Yeah.
In the toilets, that's what they're called.
Toilet, yeah.
Restrooms.
Yeah.
And she's being pursued. It soon becomes apparent.
Yes.
There's a man in a trench coat and he's got a knife.
Yep.
And he's checking all these stalls.
So at this point I was like, this isn't what I was expecting.
Yes, because I didn't expect we'd be starting with the excitement.
Because it went all in, didn't it? It was it literally starts. And like,
the best bit of the movie.
It is the best bit of the movie. It goes on for about 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And it is just a chase, and it's full high tempo action. And eventually she gets out of this toilet stall, gets into a car.
Yeah, she gives him the slip, doesn't she? Somehow.
Yeah, she manages to get away from him.
and gets back into, well, it's her car, I think.
Yeah, I think it is, yeah.
And
it is. It was proven later on.
It will not start.
No.
I don't know why.
No, because it's a horror movie. Well, it's not a horror movie, it's a thriller.
She must have got there somehow.
Yeah.
But then eventually it does start on about the fourth go, just as the guy in the trench coat is sort of looming over the bonnet.
Yeah, but it won't go anywhere.
No.
It's stuck.
And then it turns out it's got a tractor beam. She's being towed.
She's been hooked up to a pickup on a winch with a winch, and she's being pulled backwards whilst trying to drive forwards.
Yes.
So she gets out of this car because it's not going anywhere.
Sure.
Does a runner, tries to run, gets hit by another car.
Right, my first question. Okay. Where do all these people come from?
Don't know. Where did they go?
Exactly. This pickup truck's right behind her.
Yeah.
There's a guy in it. Lights are on. He's pulling this car back. She runs. She gets hit by another car.
Yeah.
And four people crowd around her.
Yeah.
On foot.
Yeah. One of them's the driver of the car. That's
Fine.
fair. I'll allow it.
Who are these other 3 people? Never to be seen again.
Yeah. And why weren't they helping a minute ago? How far she ran?
In the middle of nowhere at this gas station.
Yeah.
And that is when I text you and said,
fuck this movie.
Yeah. Well, 4.5 minutes in, I was fine with the first 4 minutes.
Yeah.
It's falling apart already, I'm sorry.
The biggest crime of this film that never gets answered is why was she at this gas station in the first place?
Yeah.
We never find that out.
Well, she was trying to escape this guy.
Yes.
But why is she stopped?
Yes.
Yeah. They never say her car was out of gas.
No. And it can't have been. She wouldn't have been trying to drive away.
Yeah.
There's a lot. I've got questions about her parents.
Yeah.
I've got questions about where this all came from. And her husband specifically, I've got a massive question on. So it cuts from there. It goes into the title. It hits the title card. She's there being rushed into hospital on a gurney.
Also, Secret Obsession is the blandest title.
Doesn't even make any sense. Doesn't even relate to the film.
No, because it's not a secret.
No, it's not.
And
it's the least secret obsession ever.
It's just such a TV movie title, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a TV movie. It's a trashy paperback.
Yeah.
That your mum will read on the beach. Not your mum.
Well, she might do.
Well, she might do. Mums
in general. So yeah, it cuts to the title card. The title is Secret Obsession, obviously. She's being rushed into hospital on a gurney. She's having wedding memories whilst this is happening.
Yeah, she's kind of having flashbacks to, yes, I did have a husband.
Yeah.
And we did some romance stuff.
We need to establish that I have a husband.
Who we don't.
No.
We can't identify, but I was in a relationship.
But then we can identify him because he shows up.
Oh, yeah.
He runs into the hospital and it's basically a waiting montage of him waiting for her to get better.
He ignores the nurse and he manages to get right through into the operating room.
Yeah,
which
literally
made me laugh.
To the door before two blokes to stand in his way like this.
Shouldn't be here.
It shouldn't be here, mate. She's in surgery. And this film cuts quite quickly at this point because suddenly then it's the next day and she's out of surgery and he's allowed in to see her.
We won't give the twist away. I think it's fairly obvious what the twist's going to be.
Yeah.
And why did they give it away here? Because he runs in, he sees the nurse at the hospital, who appears to be the only person working there pretty much.
I've written that as well. She's the only nurse. She answers the phone. She does all the admin.
She's
a physio. She goes through the CCTV. She's the physio. She does it all. I've written that down. I was like, she's the only nurse in this whole hospital.
And Jennifer's husband's first question, did she say anything about what happened?
Yeah.
It's not, is she okay? And I'm like, well, fucking thanks for ruining this twist then.
This is suspect already.
Yeah.
As soon as he ran in the door, I was like...
First line he says.
Yeah. As soon as he ran in the door, I was like, well, he's the bad guy. It's obvious. It couldn't be more obvious. And then we cut from them. We leave them for a bit and we meet the detective for the first time. Frank Page. Blandest name of all time.
Oh, no, just before that. So,
okay, sorry.
So Russell goes to sleep next to her, as you said, in the chair.
Yeah.
He's creepy and he's got a beard. But then there's another creepy beard guy looking in.
Yes.
From the hallway.
Who's this?
We'll get to him. I've got many questions about him.
Me too. Many. Then we meet Frank Page, Detective Bland Frank Page. He gets a phone call, buys a teddy bear, and then drives to a hospital. That's how we meet him. He goes to meet. He speaks to Russell when he gets there. He's gone to find out what's gone on.
He's like, where were you during all this?
Yeah.
And Russell says, I was at home alone.
Yes. She went out to get groceries.
Yeah.
And then never came back.
Yeah. He said, I waited an hour.
Yeah.
And then he called around. No one had seen her.
Yeah.
And Bland Page goes, problems at home?
Oh, yeah.
And Russell's like, no, we've been married 2 weeks.
Yeah, we just got married. We're doing
it everywhere.
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what he says. We've left our lives. We've moved up to the mountains 2 weeks ago. Everything's great. And then Detective Page goes, well, her car's missing. It's not there.
Yeah, where's
her car? Still don't know. And then he goes home.
As a cry.
This is my thing. This is the question I'm having now. So he goes home. He gets this bear that he brought earlier on, and he wraps it up. And then he has a cry. And then he has a cupboard full of wrapped up presents.
Yes.
Because he appears to have a missing daughter.
Yeah.
That must have been missing for a long time, so there's a lot of presents in this cupboard. So I'm like, is this twist that she's going to be the daughter as well? I was like, at this point, I was like, anything could happen in there. I already knew at this point that the husband was the bad guy.
And
this doesn't ever really get mentioned again.
No, it doesn't really.
It's a complete MacGuffin.
And I don't know if you're going to say the same thing I want to bring up. So he puts, like you say, he puts the present in the wardrobe. There's a whole wardrobe full of presents. He's obviously done for every birthday, Christmas since his daughter's been missing. Whilst he's doing that, there's a news report.
Yeah.
We're used to seeing a news report as a way of explaining plot.
It's the bottom of the stream's trope.
But he's not watching TV.
No.
So to our knowledge, he's not got the radio on because his daughter's been missing for ages.
Yeah.
So we just hear a disembodied... years-old news report.
Yeah, if it's just to tell us what he's sad about.
Yeah, I mean, I think I can get that his daughter's missing from all the presents.
Yeah, I
don't need the voice just going. Detective Page's daughter
was been missing for 20 years.
When she was 10.
Yeah,
police have no leads on this matter. That was so weird. What a weird choice.
Yeah. Talking of weird, the next scene we meet a doctor, and he blew my mind. So. We go back to the hotel.
I forgot about him, yeah.
We go back to the hospital.
Yeah, I forgot about this doctor.
Russell is given the news by the nurse, same nurse, she's in it all the way through, that Jennifer's awake.
Yeah.
And that he can go and see her. So he goes with a doctor. And he says to the doctor, well, the doctor tells him what's wrong and that she's going to have some memory loss. So he says to the doctor, will she know who I am? And he's like, the doctor's like, I'm not really sure. We don't know. Until you've seen her, we don't know.
Yeah.
And then he says to the doctor, will she know who I am?
He's like, just give it to me straight.
And the doctor's like, well, we don't really know. It could go either way. And then he says to the doctor, will she know who I am? And he went, no.
She doesn't remember you.
Why was he so reluctant to tell him? He was like, she might do. She might do.
Plus.
No, she won't. I laughed out loud. I was like, that's the worst
How
thing.
does he know? If she won't know him, she might, because surely it's entirely plausible that they may have said to her, "Do you remember your husband?" And she says, "Oh no."
Yeah,
but that's not to say he wouldn't walk in and she'd go, "Oh,
there he is," which is what he was getting at in the first place. But it was like he got pissed off with being asked the question over and over again.
No, you fucker. No, she doesn't know who you are.
It made me laugh out loud.
He should have just gone, "I'm not even a doctor. I'm just
I'm not even an actor."
Yeah.
And it turns out she doesn't know who he is.
She recoils at Russell's touch.
Yeah, she does.
It's brilliant acting.
It is. He goes to greet her and she just backs away from him. And then
I've also written here in huge capital letters, "Oh God, the music." The score to this movie
is horrendous.
It's awful.
Yeah,
and it's something I don't want to say I never paid attention to scores in movies, but
I think you only notice them if they're bad.
Yeah.
A good score you shouldn't notice.
Because when we do a bad movie...
Yeah. We seem to mention it all the time.
And it doesn't match what I'm seeing on screen. It's dramatic when it doesn't need to be dramatic. And then the opposite...
Yeah.
In places, it's terrible.
It really is.
Really
I've
bad.
got a point about it in about 3 lines. I've got a point about it as well. So she doesn't know who he is. And we cut away from them two at that point. We go back to the detective. And he's interviewing people who were there at the scene.
Yeah.
And he interviews the driver. And he says, look, I don't know what happened. It was all a blur. It all happened really quickly.
Yeah, she came out of nowhere. It was raining.
Yeah. And he says, I did see a tow truck. And it seemed to be pulling a car. And we're like, fair enough. That's a fact. That
I thought the detective said, did you see a truck?
No, that he asked the next guy.
Okay, fine.
So that guy says that. And then another guy comes in, who's the guy we saw earlier.
Yeah.
And he says to him, and as soon as this guy sits down, the music goes boom, 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 as if he's like Freddy Krueger's just sat down.
It's just
and I'm like,
dude.
and to that point, I'm questioning myself of like, oh, maybe he's not the bad guy. Maybe this guy's the bad guy, because this film's basically just told me this guy's a fucking evil bastard with that music. And then the detective says to him, did you see a tow truck? And he's like, yeah, I did. So we know there was a tow truck.
He was like, no, I don't think so. And then the detective goes, are you sure? And he goes, oh yeah, now you mention it.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. You're right, I did.
I think it was towing a car.
Yeah. I was like, who is this guy?
I've just put, where did all these people come from? When she was...
Because I was now questioning myself, thinking, this is the bad guy in this film now, because he has to be. Because that music's just told me he is.
Never see him again.
You see him once more in an even more nonsensical role. So we'll come back to that later. Then we go back to Jennifer and Russell. They're kind of reminiscing, trying to catch up some memories.
I've called him Husbeard.
His name?
I don't know if we got a name by that. He's telling her about her life, isn't he?
Yeah, he's telling her about her life. And she says, have you told my parents? Do they know? And he's like, your parents have been dead for years.
Yeah, he died in a fire.
Yeah, he wasn't even like, he didn't break it to her gently.
No.
And she freaks out at that point. She didn't know that.
Mm-hmm.
So she's like, okay, I'll get out. I want to be on my own for a bit. And then this guy shows up again.
I'm fascinated by this character.
Me too.
So this is the guy who was creepily staring at Russell and Jennifer.
Yeah.
A couple of scenes ago.
He was one of the guys who just turned up out of the blue at the beginning.
Right. Okay.
So it wasn't the driver of the car. It was one of the, when you said who are these random people, he was one of these guys. So then he was looking at Jennifer and Russell at the beginning, and then he got interviewed by the cop.
Yeah.
And now he's turned up again at the hospital with some flowers for Jennifer.
And it's such a lazy attempt at a red herring, isn't it?
Yeah, it really is. Because I'm like, what? Who is this guy supposed to be? And why am I scared of him? Because he was massive, great big guy as well.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
guy. He turns up with flowers.
And he says, I've just put these for the lady who was in the car crash.
He's like creepy beard man.
So at this point I was like, is he real husband? Or why, if he is real husband, why is he not?
Why is he hanging around? He knows these people.
Yeah. So I don't know what it was. Then we get a getting better montage I've written. She gets, I don't know how much time passed. There must have been
Russell, her husband, is doing all the, he's the physio.
Yeah.
He's doing all the brain training with her.
Yeah.
This is the only time the nurse isn't in it, is when he's...
When he's physioing.
Yeah.
They're playing
in
matching,
the hospital.
Getting cards to match, aren't they? What's that game called?
Snap.
No, where you have loads of cards.
It's like the start of Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
But there's no electric shocks.
And then she gets discharged by the same nurse who wants to come back and do physio with her because she's also a physio as well. She gets in the car, he helps her in the car. She has a little mini flashback in the car.
Yeah, it's the last time she was in a car. Didn't turn out so good.
Shit went down. And I've written here, I bet they've got an amazing house.
Yeah.
And then they pull into the driveway of this incredible house.
This place is unbelievable.
It was beautiful. And I was like, I just knew it was going to be an amazing... You knew it wasn't going to be a flat or a bedsit. You knew it was going to be this amazing house in the country in the middle of nowhere. And it was a beautiful little house.
So she explores. They go into the living room.
Yeah.
He's left the fire on.
Of course he has.
Full on log fire. Just go in.
He's been in this hospital for days. She's like... He's
supposed to switch that off before you leave.
Yeah. He's like, I've set up the guest bedroom for you. And she's like, well, I want to be in our bedroom.
Yeah.
So he's like, we're upstairs. So she's like, I'll go upstairs. So she goes upstairs. He takes her upstairs. Yeah. And she kind of just sits on the bed. She's trying to remember. It makes sense that she want to go into her bedroom because that's the one place she'd remember.
Got onto the balcony and he's like, oh, you loved it here. You loved the garden. You know, we're a mile from our nearest neighbours.
Yeah. And he leaves her up there on her own. Russell goes back downstairs and he gets a phone call from the detective.
Yeah.
And he says, look, I want to speak to Jennifer. Can you bring her in? Can we book an appointment? 11 o'clock tomorrow morning.
Sure.
Bring her in. Russell's like, no, she's not. She's still a bit ill. And the detective's like, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
He's not having any of it. But Jennifer's overhearing this conversation.
Because it appears that they've totally forgotten to speak to her in the hospital.
Yeah.
All that time
surely
she
she didn't just
and stuff.
Yeah. She didn't just wake up. She was awake the whole time.
Yeah.
And she must have been in there a few days while she was recuperating. And the detective just didn't bother until she got home. And he was like, okay. They have dinner that night. He tells her that because she's like, what about my work? And he's like, you don't have a job. You quit your job when we moved up here. We both worked in the same place, but I've still got a job, but I've got time off.
Yeah, he's like, the house has been in the family.
Yeah, we're fine. Don't worry about it.
We've made a life decision.
Yeah. All of her friends, she's got friends, but they're all in Hawaii for some reason.
Because it's very far away.
It's very far away. And then this film takes a weird turn.
Yeah, so Russell goes out, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does. And he goes to meet this guy.
Don't know how he finds him.
Don't know how he even
finds
knew
the
who
beard
he was.
guy.
Yeah, the guy, this strange guy. We don't know who this guy is.
Nope.
We don't know how Russell knew he even existed.
Correct.
We don't know how Russell found him. What we do know is that Russell kills him at this point.
Yeah. Really, really sloppily.
Really sloppily and really violently.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, he's just like, stop hanging around my wife. Doesn't ask him any questions.
No.
So, not like, who are you? What are you? And then
They've never met, as far as we know.
Yeah. Beats him up with a crowbar.
Yeah, he beats him. Was it a crowbar or a golf racket? Golf racket? Was it a golf racket? I thought it was a golf club.
It wasn't a golf stick. It was a crowbar.
Was it a crowbar? Okay, fair enough. But the guy, just before the guy dies, he sets the alarm off on his car.
Yeah.
So it alerts all the neighbours. So Russell just pulls him behind a bush and strangles him.
Yeah, but they're just up against the house. In
the broad daylight.
In the light.
Well, it's not daylight, it's night time.
Yeah, but in the flashing lights of this car alarm.
But some of the neighbours come out, have a quick look. But you don't go out. If there's car alarm going off in your street, you don't go out, do you? That's fair. But
maybe. They're not quiet about it.
It was fucking lazy is what it was. I don't understand why this character was here, who this character was, and why this character had to die.
Never addressed. How did he know him?
I don't know. Why did he have to die?
Interested passerby?
That's how it made it look, because he was there at the beginning. But it's like, why did he go and kill him?
There's no effort, like I say, into sort of like trying to portray him as a possible suspect, and therefore, he was the red herring all along. No, he's only in 3 seasons.
Yeah,
and it's so
lazy.
Shit.
It's so lazy. I just didn't understand what was going on. I was like, I can't understand why this man's just been murdered. And then, even more lazily, Russell gets home, and he's brought the body with him.
Yeah,
and just buries it in the back garden.
Yeah, really shallowly. He doesn't even dig a hole. He just
even a mound.
There's a grave mud on top of it.
There's a grave mound. And Jennifer just sits in the window and can see him doing it, but never questions it. The next morning, Frank gets stood up. They obviously don't turn up to this appointment they made at 11 o'clock. So he looks up Russell's name on the police database.
Yeah. There's no Russell Williamses.
There's no Russell Williamses in California. Not one. There's zero results found, it says.
Yeah.
Not a single one in the whole of California.
Look, I know it's not the sexiest name, but I'd have thought there'd be a couple.
Me too.
I would have thought his problem would be, shit, there's like 200 Russell Williamses I've got to check. Not
that would make more
none.
sense. That would make more sense. So he's like, that's curious. I'll go to the hospital because they've got a really helpful nurse there.
Yes.
And I'll go to the hospital and I'll get their address from the hospital because they'll have the details, surely. So he does. He heads over to the hospital. We cut briefly back to Jennifer. She's having wedding memories, I guess is what you'd describe it as. And she's going through some wedding photos.
Yeah, it's looking at old photos.
He's left out. She's looking at some wedding photos. And she spots what I would describe as a terrible piece of Photoshop.
Oh, yeah.
All of them are really badly Photoshopped, but she actually spots one.
But considering some of the stuff she's let go so far, to spot this...
Yeah. She kind of lets this go as well at this point, though. Mm. So she's looking through, and he's Photoshopped himself. He's not the husband. This is the twist that we knew from the very beginning. He's Photoshopped himself into her wedding photos, but has failed to realise that there's a reflection in the mirror in one of them.
Sure.
And you can see the back of his head's a different colour to the front of his head. And she
spots
it.
He's blonde, and in the picture, the reflection's still
got black hair.
A dark-haired guy.
Yeah. They're all bad photos. It looks like he's cut the pictures out with a pair of scissors and stuck them over this dude's head.
She limps downstairs, doesn't she? To the office.
Yeah, because this is like a whole thing that she can't get back downstairs on her own.
I mean, these stairs really cause her trouble.
They do. There's like 3 times.
Why doesn't she just sit down?
I don't know.
And shuffle down.
She's got a broken
foot.
Kids do. Is that what we're supposed to assume, that her foot's broken?
Yeah, she's injured. Yeah,
she's got a broken foot, so she limps. She's got a walking stick, and she limps down these stairs twice. We see her
sit down, shuffle down, problem solved.
Yeah,
they try and get all this drop again with the score because she's when she's on her own in the house. It happens a couple of times, and she's at the top of the stairs, and it just goes boom.
Yeah, it wants you to
looking down the stairs.
It wants you to think that she's about to fall down the stairs.
Yeah,
because later on she falls down the stairs. So it's leading you up to, oh, is she going to fall? No, she's not. Yeah. Oh, is she going to fall? No, she's not. And then she does. And it's so lazy. It's awful. He catches her in the study, but she's like, I'm just walking around the house trying to get my memories back. And he's got her a new phone. He's brought her a phone because her phone got lost in the car.
Yeah, that's never been recovered.
Yeah. So, but he gives her this phone and he's like, but it won't work. We're up in the mountains. There's no signal up here. So why he's brought her one, I have no idea. Frank, the detective, has gone to the address that he got from the hospital.
Yep.
This is not the address that these people live at.
Not a Williams in sight.
Not a Williams in sight. And then he thinks, how did Russell find out about the accident?
Yeah.
Which was the very first thing that I thought. And he's thought about it now. So he phones the nurse again, doesn't he? She appears on the phone again. And he's like, oh no, I think he figured it out himself at this point. Nobody ever called him because nobody knew who she was because she didn't have any ID.
He asks one of the
other cops.
Yeah.
Yes, he does.
He's like, and again, what kind of policeman is this guy? It's only now he sort of says, well, did we run prints? Did we take prints of the husband? Did we do any checks on him? No, driving license, anything?
Some family photos.
Yeah.
That's how they knew who he was. Yeah. She had a picture of her and he knew about a tattoo on her back. But when she got taken into the hospital, she didn't have any idea on her. And then her husband just showed up with nobody calling him.
Yeah. Surely
somebody's alarm bell should have been ringing at that point. Yes.
So you're going to have to show at least a driving license.
Just to... we don't even know who she is, and you're saying you're her husband.
Yeah.
But no red flags. This nurse is shit. But she's overworked. She does all the jobs.
Yeah, that's true. She's got to cook lunch and do surgery.
So yeah, the cops figure this out at this point. So the red flags are starting to flash in Frank's brain, but not enough yet. Then they try to have Jennifer and Russell try to have a bit of naughty, but she doesn't want to.
Yeah, she bails.
She bails on it, and he
at first base or something like that.
Yeah, he shows his true colours. He starts freaking out, shouting at her. He's like, he really wants to.
He's thinking with a wang.
He is, absolutely. So he gets up and she goes to sleep, and then he goes down and watches her on a camera for a bit.
That never comes CCTV everywhere.
Yeah. Right here, Frank calls the only nurse in the hospital.
This is where she pulls the CCTV footage for him.
So he says to her, can you get Jennifer's file up? And she turns around, picks the first folder up off the shelf and has her file in her hand. She didn't even look at it. She just picked the first ring binder up. And then he's like, can you pull up the security footage from the night that she came in? I'm looking for a white pickup truck. And then she goes, yeah, security have just emailed that to you. It's like straight away. He's still on the phone to her when he gets the email. And Frank says to her, how did you guys know that Russell was who he said he was? And she's like, that's when she says he had some family photos and he knew about a tattoo on her back. Because she's got a tattoo of an A on her back. Yeah. Because her real surname is Allen. Now, I haven't got a G on my back.
It's like a family crest.
Don't think you've got a D on yours. No, it's not. Well, it's just an A with some flowers around.
It's an A with like a with a bit of Celtic stuff around it. But Detective Page then goes to like a tattoo studio.
Yeah.
And says, "Look at this tattoo. Can you tell what it means?" And the guy goes again, picks the very first book up and goes,
turns to the first page.
This is it's number 14 on this menu.
It means
tattoo
Alan.
Menu. Yeah, it's the family crest for Alan.
It was just an A with a bit of vinery around it.
Proper police work, that.
But then he does do some proper police work because he realises that her name's probably Jennifer Allen.
Could be
her husband's name, Alan.
Yeah.
Who knows? But so he puts into his police computer thingy Jennifer Allen, and it only brings up one
result.
She doesn't even live in the same place. She lives in San Jose with her parents. He finds out that she lives with her parents in San Jose. So he's like, I'll go to her parents' house.
Yeah, I'll go to this address.
Go and meet the parents.
That my computer machine's given me.
So then we get a lovely shot of California as he's driving through it. Some nighttime shots. And he pulls up outside this house, and we know that it's the right house because it says Allen House in big letters on the door or on the sign outside. He goes in. There's loads of mail outside.
Sure.
The door's broken. The door's open. Eventually, there's loads of mouldy food. He eventually finds 2 dead bodies in the bed. We get a jump scare.
Yeah.
It's a jump scare, isn't it? He pulls the quilt back and there's 2 rotten dead bodies.
And then the camera really agonisingly just stays focused on the photo on the side of the bed, which is these
2 old people and
Jennifer. 2 old people and Jennifer.
So somebody or something has killed these 2 old people, or 2 people. Conveniently, at this point, we go back to Jennifer, who's having a flashback of being chased around a house, which I think was the same house.
Yeah, I think so.
And she locks herself in a cupboard. I'm really confused by this. So what we're supposed to assume at this point is that he's broken into this house, killed her parents.
No, it's his house. It's his family's house.
Whose family's house?
Russell's. Fake Russell. The man who's got her. Because remember, later on, Detective Page pulls the...
So why are her parents there? Am I being stupid?
No, the big house.
So she's hiding in that house. I thought it was her parents' house that she was hiding in.
Oh, it could have been. It's not clear. Oh, you don't think she was being chased around the big house?
No, I think she was being chased around
her parents' house.
Her parents' house.
Could be.
Which begs the question, where's her real husband? Because she has got one. Anyway.
He was, we'll get to him.
It doesn't matter, it's unimportant. She tries to get him out of the house at this point.
Yeah, the next morning.
Yeah, Jennifer and Russell are still going through the motions of
he has a shower and gets dressed really quickly.
I've written that down as well. So she knows now that he's not her husband, I think. I think she's figured it out. But she's obviously still going through the motions because she's trapped with him. And she sends him out for groceries because she's going to cook for him.
Yeah.
And then I've written, he just got out of the shower, got dry, and
fully
got dressed.
In the space of her going, I'm going to make a lasagna tonight. Can you go and get me some groceries?
The scene never cuts.
No.
So he gets out of the shower, he walks into his walk-in wardrobe, he comes out of his walk-in wardrobe, he's fully clothed.
It's like a computer game.
It doesn't even look like he's ever been wet. It is like it's like Superman. He goes into his phone box and comes out as Superman. I was like, what has just happened? How has that happened? I don't even know how the actor got changed that quick. It was super. I think that's the point where I text you like, this is the laziest film I've ever seen. She sends him out for groceries, but sends him out without his wallet. She steals his wallet. Yeah, so he's obviously going to come back. And she finds her ID card in his wallet. So this is the point where she finds out her real name as Jennifer Allen. And Frank goes off to, somehow he's found out where she worked, or where they both worked.
Yeah.
And this is the reveal.
So he's done, the bit of police work he has done happens off screen.
Yeah.
Because he's got a name, he's found out where she works, yeah.
This is the reveal of the twist that we got 40 minutes ago.
Sure.
So Frank goes to where they work. He talks to somebody who works there who worked with her.
He's like, yeah, they both left. Russell, Jennifer, office romance.
Yeah, they got together here. They
decided to leave,
go move up into the mountains. Yeah. Which we already knew. That's fine. That story's real. So and he says, I think I've got a photo of them over here, because I don't know about you, but my work's got loads of photos of us all.
Oh, yeah.
The building,
yeah. All over the wall. Last Christmas party.
Yeah, pictures all over the wall. And he shows Frank this picture of a group of colleagues together with Jennifer and the real Russell in.
Yeah.
Who isn't the guy that we met. But this guy, who we do know as Russell, is lurking in the background like a little creepy man. He's not in the group of colleagues. He's just in the back of the picture. And Frank's obviously met this guy.
Yeah.
So he says, who's this dude? And the guy at the work says, this is Ryan. He left as well, not long after them.
He punched some dude in the face.
Yeah, he punched his boss in the face, so we got rid of him. And then Jennifer has a flat. Jennifer's memories seem to be tied to Frank's memory.
Yeah, totally.
Whatever Frank's finding out.
She remembers almost exactly at the same time as Frank's finding out this trail.
Yeah, it's like he's triggering her memories somehow. They're connected at the brain. So she has a memory of her real wedding and what her real husband looks like. Yeah. And
he looks like a Ken doll with glasses.
Yeah. And then she has a memory of Ryan breaking into whichever house he broke into.
Yeah.
Then she finds out that the internet's been turned off or has been ripped out in this house.
Yeah, they're not connected.
They're not connected to the internet. And her phone that he's given her doesn't even got a SIM card in it.
No.
This is why she can't
get hold of it. She runs out into the garden to check her phone.
Yeah.
She doesn't check the SIM first.
No, she runs out trying to get signal. I mean, my phone says no SIM and there's no SIM in it. But while this is happening, Russell/Ryan realizes that he's not got his wallet and so needs to turn around and go back to the house.
Sure.
And then
she's not left herself much time, put it that way.
No. she
stole
his wallet and sent him to the shop.
Yeah. It would take him longer to just send him to the shop. But then you wouldn't have the convenience of her working out that that's not a real name. She needed
the wallet to find what her name was. While she's looking for this network on her phone, she trips over and lands on this dead body.
Yep.
That's just buried. Not even buried in the garden.
His arm's sticking out.
His arm's sticking out of the ground.
It's like he's grown. this thing.
She doesn't disturb it at all. She just falls next to it and the arm's there. He's the worst man at burying a body I've ever known.
Totally.
But just as she falls over, he turns up behind her and clubs her on the back of the head.
Yeah.
And he grabs her from behind and then he carries her back up into the bedroom. She starts freaking out. He's freaking out. Everybody's freaking out at this point. She lets slip that she now knows who he is.
Yeah.
And who she is.
You're not my Russell.
So he ties her to the bed. Wait, I say ties her to the bed. He puts her foot through a loop and ties that to the bed.
Quite half-heartedly.
Really half-heartedly. Because her foot's broken, so I think he's thinking she ain't going to want to do any damage to that. And then he goes back to the shops.
Yeah.
Because he needs to go to the shops.
He doesn't buy the stuff for the lasagna.
No, he buys a big bag of lye.
Yeah.
Because he's going to start remaking Fight Club. And I know it's a big bag of lie because it had lie written on it in huge letters.
It's a massive bag as well.
It's like, yeah. And it's just got a green letters of lie written on it.
Of all the people, who else is also out buying lie?
No, my thought was that they lived quite a long way from this hospital.
Yeah.
But apparently not, because they bump into the nurse. The one nurse in this whole place. And she starts shouting him, Russell. She shouts his whole name, Russell Williams, Russell. And he gets in his car, he tries to ignore her, but she ends up banging on his window. Yeah. So
she's like, you never came to physio.
Yeah, his car also doesn't have electric windows, even though it was quite new. He winds the window down. And he's like, she's like, you've never turned up to the hospital. How is Jennifer? Where is she? What's all this? And then she's like, oh, and the detective's looking for you as well.
And he just speeds off.
And he's like, get away from my fucking car. And she's like, I beg your pardon. She's really offended. And drives off. And so he drives off and leaves her there. We never see her again. That's the nurse done.
There's a lazy psych out, isn't there, whereas there's a police car behind him, but then it just goes past.
Yeah, he pulls over because he thinks he's about to be pulled over, and he's got his knife strapped to his leg in a what do you call them? Holster. And he's like, gets it out as if he's just going to stab this cop in the face when it pops through the window. And then the cop car just drives. It's so lazy. Jennifer then is trying to escape, and I'm like, what's in Gerald's game's coming up again, when she degloves herself. Is it de-sock yourself if you do it to your foot? So she
doesn't have to.
She doesn't have. She tries to do that. She tries to just pull her foot through.
Slowly on loops.
And as she really tries hard to pull her foot, and I thought, I hope she's not going to skin her foot. And then
not in this movie.
The loop just undoes. Yeah. the strength of a broken foot has managed to undo the loop that he put her in. And she manages to get herself free. Then she goes downstairs and duct tapes her foot for some reason.
The sound effects when she's duct taping the foot, it's like a fucking transformer.
Why did she do it?
Still she's trying to strap her ankle up in her foot, isn't she?
She never has done.
Wasted a lot of time doing this.
She never has done.
Find the duct tape.
Duct tape.
Duct tape. Strap it up.
Her foot's not been strapped for the whole movie. When she was walking around the house, walking up and down the stairs, she's got no strapping on it at all.
Strapping on it.
No. And then she's. It might have hurt pulling it through that loop, but she just. What's duct tape going to do anyway? I was like, what is she doing? Then she gets out into the garage. She finds her car, and she finds her phone in her car. But that's got no signal either because we're out in the mountains.
No, but it's got a picture of her and real Russell on the home screen.
Yeah, that's how we knew it was her phone, I suppose. Then the garage door starts opening because horror movie. It's not even a horror movie, but that's the trope from a horror movie. And he's back, so she hides in the back of this car.
He brings the lion.
The lion?
The lion. I wish there was a lion in this movie.
Wish it was the person who wrote it. And he brings the lion, and there's a body in the boot of this car that she's hiding in. Which I assume was the guy that he killed.
No, it was a husband.
It was a husband?
Yeah. It was real Russell.
Oh, okay. That's answered some of my questions, because one of my questions was, where the fuck's a real husband?
Yeah, he was in the boot.
I thought it was the guy that he killed earlier on.
No.
Okay, that makes sense.
He was in the garden.
And he opens the boot just to make sure that he's still in there, so we can have a look.
Yeah.
And then he shuts the boot, and we never see him again either.
No, she never finds him.
She never finds him.
She never knows that
She never once questions where her real husband is.
No, I don't think she does ask that out loud, thinking about it.
I don't think she does. Nor does Frank. This is what I mean. I didn't think we ever even acknowledged the fact that he existed, so that's fair enough. But it's still terrible that nobody even mentioned who he was. She goes...
She now has to leg it out the garage, back upstairs.
On a duct tape foot.
Into bed.
Yeah, because she needs to get herself, because as far as he knows, she's tied up in bed.
And this is a painful sequence to watch, where she's just a tiny bit ahead of him.
Yeah.
She's almost sprinting. She's turned into Usain Bolt.
Yeah, and he's just walking slowly behind her. Yeah. He's always like 5 seconds behind her. And she hasn't got time to tie her foot back up. So she just puts a quilt over it and hopes that he won't ever look under there. So he gets back into bed, puts the quilt over it. He gets up, and just as he's about to lift up the quilt to make sure she's still tied up, the front gate buzzer goes off.
Oh, it's that mystical connection again.
Yeah.
See, between Paige and Jen.
Yeah, because Frank's showed up at his gate.
Yeah.
How?
Don't know.
How has Frank found this house?
Don't know. Well, no, actually, you can fill in the blanks, actually. Because he found out that this guy in this photo was called Ryan Garrity. So if he's done his search and pulled out one result for Ryan Garrity.
Yeah, maybe.
from his excellent
because this guy's used
computer
his
system.
own house
Yeah.
for this.
Yeah. It's his family house.
We find that out now.
Yeah.
Because he lets Frank in and then disappears.
Frank doesn't go to the door.
Nope.
He runs up the drive and just shouting, Russell Williams.
Yeah.
And I've just written, go ring
the doorbell. You know he's in there.
Yeah.
He's just let you in. You've spoken to him on the intercom. The door tannoy.
Yeah.
Call back. And because for some reason everybody in this movie universe has their surname on a massive sign at the front of their house, it's got Williams written on this sign because that's their name. But Frank's like, that's not their name.
He's no fool.
So he peels this sign away and it says the Garrities or whatever it was. Was it that? Something like that?
Yeah.
Why have these people got their surnames on signs outside their house?
Then he sees a tarp.
It does.
First thing, so he pulls this sign up, then there's a tarp next to it.
What's under the tarp?
White pickup truck.
White pickup truck, innit? So now he knows he's in the right place at least. But I thought that thing with the sign was so... It was such an insult to the audience.
It really was.
The fact that the Allen house had it to start with, and now the Williamses have got it, and that's hidden the Garrity.
Yeah.
Garrity.
Can you imagine? Is anyone watching this? And then as Frank pulls back the sign and it reveals Garrity, do you think anyone's actually going,
No, because I don't think they told you that was his surname before it.
They did. He did.
Well, maybe one throwaway
the colleague
line.
did at the...
Have you ever, in your life, seen a house with somebody's surname on a massive sign outside?
I don't think
or in real life.
Yeah, on mailboxes and stuff.
Yeah, but no, this is like a wooden sign. It's a plaque.
It?
It's a big wooden sign.
Like where it would usually say the museum is open between 10 and 5.
Yeah, but it's just got their surname on it. And all three houses.
If you've got a house that big, maybe you would.
I don't think I would. I've never seen it. I've never seen it in a film. I've never seen it in real life. It just blew my mind. I was like, where has this idea come from that people have this? Because they don't. It's not a thing. Jennifer gets his attention.
Yes.
So she knocks on the window. It's like, hello, Frank.
Yeah, he sees her.
Yeah, and then he gets clubbed in the back of the head. Yeah. I was like, oh, fucking hell, I hope he's not dead. I thought they're going to holler on him. All the way through, he's trying to find it, and then he gets there and dies straight away. Russell then takes the tape off her foot.
Yeah, he's like, you've been busy.
Yeah, you've duct taped your foot. Let's take that off. So he takes that off. And he makes her promise never to walk on it again.
Takes her back upstairs again.
Yeah, puts her back in the bedroom. But conveniently, that's where her phone is.
Oh, yeah, she hid that under the pillow.
She hid that under the pillow. But she doesn't do anything. All she does is watches some videos on it.
Of her old husband. Well, this is when Russell's doing his admin downstairs because he's putting Frank in the chest freezer.
Yeah, he puts her in Dennis Haysbert's a big guy.
Yeah.
Is it David Haysbert?
Dennis.
One of the guys. Yeah, so she just watches some videos on her phone. And then he comes back in, and this time he ties her hands to the bed.
Sure.
In a really shit knot as well.
And he puts a candle down.
Yes. Because she needed a lighter.
To escape, yeah.
So he puts a candle next to the bed. It's broad daylight, 2 PM probably. He puts a candle down, lights the candle, puts the lighter next to the candle within arm's reach of her, and then leaves.
It's mental.
It's so mental. That's so lazy because there's other ways you can leave a lighter in a bedroom. And she's like, well, that's handy. He's left me a lighter.
Yeah, and she's like, oh, I've been thinking about what you're saying, and yeah, maybe we could have a life.
Yeah.
And he's so stupid. He's like, oh, finally, you've come around. Well, I've done lots for you. I watched you for years at work, and
then he admits that he's killed her husband and killed her parents. Well, he says, I killed your husband and everybody else who could get in my way.
And he says, oh yeah, then I saw my chance with the amnesia and all.
Yeah. Yeah, and he says, and then fate stepped in and put you on a plate. Frank wakes up in a freezer. He leaves. She kicks the lighter on the floor, manages to pick it up.
Well, she's like, oh, maybe could you go and get me a drink?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, sure. It's going to be a minute.
Yeah.
She should have said, can you go and make me a roast dinner?
Because he probably would have done it.
Give her a chance.
Yeah. And so she picks up this lighter and burns through the rope that he's used to tie her up. It wasn't a rope that he used on her feet, but it's a rope that he's used on her hand conveniently. Yeah. So she sets fire to this rope and burns through it. And then he comes back in. She's not on the bed anymore. He's like, oh, where's she gone? And then she bangs him out with a vase and locks him in the bedroom. She shuts the door, locks the door.
And then I'm really sorry, but I laughed out loud when she fell down the stairs.
She locked him in the bedroom. He literally woke up straight away and starts banging on the door. She runs down the stairs, falls down the stairs because We've seen her try and walk down it twice.
Like I say, just go down on your backside.
Yeah, she went flying down the stairs. It was funny.
It was funny.
Frank manages to break himself out of the chest freezer.
He does.
Kicks it open and gets himself out, but he's all discombobulated.
We're off into the woods.
And at the same time, he breaks out of the chest freezer. Russell Ryan breaks out of the bedroom.
Yeah.
So we've got a chase going on.
Sure.
We've got a man who has two men who have just been knocked on the back of the head, and one woman who's only got one foot that works.
Correct.
And they're having a chase.
They're all out in the woods.
So she's hobbling off into the woods. She's walking really slowly. Ryan's right behind her. Russell/Ryan's right behind her. He's also walking really slowly. And then Frank's right behind him, also walking really slowly. From a distance, this must have looked ridiculous because there's just three of them just walking slowly behind each other. She picks up what I would describe as a tree.
It's a tree. Yeah.
You could call it a log or a branch, but it's massive.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm going to hit him with this tree. And so she tries to swing it. Obviously, it takes her fucking ages, and he grabs it off her.
Yeah, he's like, I wasn't born yesterday.
And then he pushes her down a hill. He doesn't brain her with it.
Yeah, he just
pushes her backwards, and she falls down this hill. And then he's got Frank's gun, so he pulls Frank's gun on her.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Because Frank's holster was empty when he was in the freezer. So he's got the gun to her head, and he's like, I'm going to kill you now, because I've had enough of this shit. It's ridiculous.
I'm not taking you upstairs again.
Yeah, I can't take you back to that bedroom. And just as he's about to pull the trigger, Frank comes out of nowhere and rugby tackles him to the ground.
They have a scuffle.
They have a fight, and she shoots him.
You've seen her shot a million times. Yeah. She's standing there. She's got the gun. Will she? Of course she will. She does. She shoots him, and it's like the sound effect is like a rocket launcher.
It really is. She shoots it. She hits him, I think, in the shoulder with the first one, which makes him fall off Frank. She misses him with the second shot.
Yeah.
She hits the pavement, and then she hits him square in the chest with the third. Dead. Yeah. Russell Ryan's dead. 3 months later. Cut to 3 months later. Because we don't want to know what happened after that.
No.
Fuck it.
Or see her reaction when she finds out about her husband.
Yeah,
or see her ask about her husband or her parents.
Yeah, we don't need to.
What's that going to do to a person?
Yeah.
Develop the... so much story you could tell there.
Yeah.
No,
I don't need it. What we need to know is that Frank's retired and is going to move house.
Yeah, he's going to retire to play golf.
Yeah. So 3 months later,
he's given the toys away to the charity.
We're at Frank's house. He's given his presents away. Somehow he's managed to get over that.
Yep.
Don't know how. Just has. He's packing up his boxes. He's moving away. He's going to move to, I think it said Sacramento. Jennifer shows up to see him, to say bye to him.
She's like, I am also moving today.
Yes. He's moved to Scottsdale. Sorry, I wrote it down. And he's like, are you going back to San Jose? And she's like, yes, I am. Nice to meet you.
Thanks for all your help.
Thanks for all your help. He gives her a note that he got from her real husband that he found. Somebody found it in the desk of his drawer in his workplace.
Yeah, and it's like, again, Frank, come on. You must have had this debrief. You've had months to give this to her. And you're relying on this seemingly chance visit of her popping round to give it to her.
3 months later.
Yeah.
When it seems like they're friends
a note
now.
From her real husband.
Yeah, and it's just a soppy love letter.
Yeah.
And then this abomination of a film ends there.
Yeah, it's Russell saying, I've always loved you, whatever time we have together.
Yeah, the real Russell.
Yeah.
Not dead Ryan. We never know what happened to him, dead Ryan Russell. This film is ridiculous.
Do you know what? I've really enjoyed talking about it.
And I knew I would. I knew we'd have a good time with this one.
It's terrible.
I love a ludicrous film.
It's so lazy.
It's the laziest film I've ever seen.
There's a whole industry of this shit.
Yeah.
Man.
None of it makes any sense.
You could drive a bus.
Through all of it.
Through the...
I still don't understand the thing about her parents living miles and miles and miles away in San Jose. And who killed them? I presume he killed them.
Yeah.
But then why? And then... I don't understand where he killed her husband, he killed her parents, and he tries to kill her. But all of that happens off screen.
Yeah,
we don't see any of that. We're just told that that's what he's done.
That chase at the start. Yeah. Was he trying to kill her?
Yeah. Where was that?
Had he already abducted her and she was escaping?
We don't know. How did that happen? I presume he just killed her husband at that point because he was in the boot of the car.
Yeah. So how long the hell did it take her to learn to walk again?
So had he killed her husband in that gas station car park? Were they there together and she was trying to get away and managed to get away by getting run over? But
quite a lot of time passed while she was doing her recovery.
It must have, because
physical recovery. But he's just left the body in the boot.
Yeah.
And not bothered to...
It must have... A lot of time must have passed because he had time to get a sign printed with her name on it. do all this photoshopping that he did.
Yeah.
I mean, admittedly badly, but time must have passed for him to set up this house of memories. That
I'll get the lie in a few months.
But then this man can get dry and dressed in 2 seconds flat, so he's a quick mover.
He's like a superhero villain.
So I'm assuming that I personally think that he killed her husband and was trying to kill her at this gas station. But had he already killed her parents at that point, or did he go after that?
Well, this is what I don't know if they were already at the big house, because again, it said this gas station's the middle of nowhere. The cop says to Russell, "What was she doing all the way out there?"
Yeah.
So I don't know if she'd already escaped once from this big house. But don't know, don't care. But
it would have been easier to use her house, not to use his house.
Yeah,
to go back to her house, and because I don't know, and I don't really care that much. It's just blown my mind that it's that lazily written.
Yeah.
And that lazily directed. I mean, that guy should stick to Christmas movies, because this is basically a Christmas movie with no Christmas. They're all lazy. Christmas movies are all the same, aren't they?
Yeah.
Or that list I read out to you at the beginning, they're all interchangeable.
Yeah, that's what I said earlier. Yeah.
And this film would just interchange with them. It's a different genre than all the others. It's hot garbage. It's terrible. I've really, really enjoyed this episode.
Me too. And because there's so much to pull apart.
Yeah, the whole thing just falls apart in your hands. It's like,
it's so shoddy.
Yeah.
And we've not even talked about like whether the acting's any good.
No, it's not.
No, it isn't. But that's so far down the list.
Yeah.
Of what is wrong with this and mistakes. It's not. We've not even talked about it.
No, we've not. You're right. If we are going to talk about it, I thought she was terrible.
I thought everyone was terrible.
I agree.
Fake Russell, he was so bland.
It's like uber bland.
No charisma whatsoever. Even Dennis Haysbert, terrible.
Terrible. We need to find out if that's his name. I think it's David. I've got it written down. He's bored us so much that we've forgotten his name.
I apologise if I got it wrong.
One of us has. I think it's David. It's Dennis, you're right. I'm wrong.
Okay. Fine. I take back my apology.
Considering he's like quite a well-regarded actor.
Yeah.
He's done a lot of stuff in his career.
He's a fine actor.
He was awful in this. She could have been interchanged with one of 100
So could
million.
he.
Yeah, both of them could, to be fair. They could have been interchanged with any other actress.
It could have been done by AI.
10 a penny. The 10 a penny. It could have. It could have been written by the bot.
Yeah.
That's what I want to do. I wanted to write a romantic thriller and see if it comes up with something better than Secret Obsession, because it's terrible. It's so terrible. It's entertainingly bad, is how I would describe it.
Yeah.
I was laughing my head off watching it.
I laughed a lot.
Yeah, I did as well.
It's shameful.
Here's the question.
Yes?
What's the best thing about it?
The house.
The house is lovely.
It looks lovely.
The setting is really nice. And there's one shot of like, I think it's San Francisco by night, and it looked lovely. But
they don't do anything with the house.
No.
She's in like 2 rooms.
Yeah, it could have been anywhere. She could have lived in a flat. Didn't matter.
Yeah. And it's not like they're just using externals, because they're out. They're there. They're in amongst it.
Yeah.
There's no threat. Why signpost that twist right at the start?
Literally 2 minutes in. Just literally straight after the title.
Yeah, as soon as that guy turned up, I'm like, well, what's the point of watching this? I know exactly what's going to happen.
The only other thing I thought is she going to be his daughter as well? I was like, the detective.
Why not? Throw it all
all in there. It's like,
may as well go totally crazy with it.
I was sitting there thinking, he is definitely not her husband, and is she Frank's daughter? They were my two things I was thinking.
Yeah.
But then they just left that whole thing. That never came up again.
It's not my little tiny gem would be, it's not terribly shot.
No, I guess not.
You know, it looks quite nice.
Yes.
From a setting point of view. If there's no people in it, any of the sort of shots, it's quite pretty. The set.
It's a lovely setting. Yeah, California looks nice.
That's as much as I'll give it.
Same. Those 2 dead bodies in the bed were quite cool. I like that jump scene. So how do we make it better? I don't even know how you could make it better. The script is beyond repair.
Yes.
The script cannot be fixed.
Yeah.
The act, you could probably cast better actors in it, but they're still then working on that script. So
these actors might do better with a better script.
Probably.
Don't signpost it. Don't make there some threat in here. They've got nothing to work with.
It did feel like all 3 of them were just going through the motions.
Yeah.
We're making this film. They probably took 3 weeks out of their lives to make it.
Yeah. It's really bad.
It's really, really bad. Which brings us to our stream table.
Sure.
This is the third film of this season, so I think it's pretty obvious. Arlo the Alligator is currently winning, and Containment second.
Yes.
This is third.
Easily.
Containment is the bloody Citizen Kane compared to this.
100%.
They're night and day. They really are. This will be right near the bottom at the end. The only thing it
will be.
The only thing that this has got going for it is that it is quite entertaining. It's not offensive. It's quite entertaining. And we will get films this season that are worse because they're offensive or shit or whatever. This is entertainingly
brainless.
There's got nothing.
Not
going
offensive.
For it. It's not offensive. It's funny because it's so bad that it's funny.
Bottom of the stream.
Bottom of the stream. Currently 3 films in. What do we do now?
I
suppose we have to pick next week's film. It doesn't seem like that long since I picked this week's. Oh, Lionel Blair's died. I'll cut that out. I'll just let you know. So we need to turn Robin on.
Let's do it.
What would you like Robin to produce for you this week?
I just want something good. Give me a palate cleanser.
Something good.
Let's have let's have a good action. We've not had an action film yet.
True. No, we haven't. Okay. I'm going to press the button. Are you ready?
Yes.
It has picked a film called Destruction Las Vegas.
Cool.
Any ideas?
Yeah, I added this one.
Oh, okay.
I'd say I don't know really what it's about. Shall I tell you the one reason I added it to the long list?
Yeah.
Quite a while ago, actually, I think. It's been there for a while. Frankie Muniz is in it.
Oh, really?
From Malcolm in the Middle.
Oh, wow. Okay.
That's all I know.
Okay. Let's have a look then, shall we? You're correct. He is in it.
Excellent.
It's from 2013.
Oh.
Would you like to know a synopsis?
I really would.
Fraternity brothers head to Las Vegas for spring break.
Okay.
One of them steals the Sword of Thutmose III from a hotel, but they have unleashed an Asian curse and a sandstorm that slowly moves down the strip, destroying famed hotels. Seeing the massive destruction, they find out about the legend of the sword and try to stop the storm. They must find a sacred urn, the largest piece of gold, and the dark messenger. They race against time to find the items before Vegas is wiped off the map.
I'm all in.
That sounds fucking terrible. It's from 2013. It's a 15. It's just under an hour and a half. Frankie Muniz is in it, alongside Barry Bostwick.
Oh, awesome.
Also Maggie Castle's in it. Andrew Lawrence, I've heard of him as well.
I'm on board.
See if there's any cameo. There's got to be cameos in a film like that.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
3
weekend in Las Vegas, sign me up.
Oh, John Landis is in it. Ooh. So yeah, go out and watch Destruction at Las Vegas. And in the meantime, check us out on Instagram, Twitter, and Letterboxd at BOTS_podcast. Check us out. If you want to drop us an email, drop us an email at bottomofthestream@gmail.com. If you want to go on the website, it's bottomofthestream.com. On the website, you will find every episode we've ever recorded, all the stream tables, all the good stuff, and you can even get some merch if you want to buy a Bottom of the Stream pencil case.
Or banana hammock.
Or a banana hammock. I'm not sure. Maybe. There might be. If you can't do that, go to Patreon, patreon.com/bottomofthestream. On there, for a couple of quid every month, you will get early access to episodes. You'll get some we're starting to do bonus episodes, so you'll get some bonus episodes. Nick writes a newsletter every month, and for a certain price, you can get a wild card, which means you can pick the film and give Robin the week off.
Indeed.
So do all of that, and also come and join us in Discord. We have a lot of fun in Discord. We've started to do movie watch-alongs in there. We have a lot of chats in there. There's always somebody in there chatting away. And yeah, do all that.
If you can spare a few minutes, please consider leaving us a review anywhere that you can review podcasts, because it really helps our algorithms and puts us in front of the eyes and ears of more people. You can do that on Podbean, Podchaser, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Cephalopod, anywhere that plays podcasts.
Yep.
And maybe you could badly Photoshop a review visually and
visual
upload
review.
that.
I'd like that.
Why not?
Do that.
You'd be better than Russell Ryan, whatever this guy was called in Secret Obsession.
So yeah, do all that. I'll put the Discord link in the bottom of the show notes. I didn't say that. And then we'll come back next week to talk about Destruction Las Vegas.
Cheers.
Bye.